Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the Uncensored Match Build-Up Show. I am Chris Pajak, that is Ross Chanley. I am joined from his office by Mr. James Sutton, the man, the legend, and of course by the head honcho of This Is Anfield, Matt Ladson, from somewhere in the world. He's not told us where. It could be Lisbon, it could be America, who knows?
Underground
could be Formby, it could be anywhere, we just don't know. We're here, of course, to preview the Manchester United versus Liverpool game in the Premier League. And Manchester United have got the chance to put a nail in our coffin of the top four, and that sucks fucking monkey dick. Ross Chanley. I'm not asked about money from videos. Go on.
Oh, I don't know where you go from there, Chris, to be honest. Not confident, not really looking forward to it, but it's a step closer to the season finishing. That's been in my mind for the past few weeks. Just like, I changed the calendar upstairs in the office. I was like, 5 games, just get them done, and I'm happy. But, you know, you're right, the top 4 chances are slim to none at the minute. Our record at Old Trafford is shit. So, you know, yay.
Absolutely ridiculous. We're going to dive into it in a whole host of depth and detail with the guests, of course. But before that, we've obviously got an integration with Super 6. Paul was over there on Hold the L on Tuesday, talking about the best Champions League moments. We went for Istanbul. Get over there, watch this video, and go and vote for Paul Machin.
Look, I mean, this is going to go down to the vote for sure, and I guess Paul and Akeem are going to get away with it, and I guess it will be about us, Nini.
Get away with it.
Yeah. It was always going to come down to us. Let's be serious. It was always coming down to me.
And
like we've cheated. Love that. Like we've cheated. You want us to pick a worse moment.
But look, in terms of holding the L, it's not always necessarily what the right answer is. It's also about, like, Akeem, you think yours is the best. Paul thinks his is the best. I've got to side with Paul. Nini, who do you think was the best Champions League win?
Between Akeem...
Yeah,
I have to go for Liverpool. I think it's one of the iconic ones. You know what I mean?
So if anything, Akeem might need to hold the L.
Don't try and spin it.
I'm just opening the floor to debate.
Don't try.
Welcome back. Go over and check out the Hold the L show on the Super 6 YouTube channel. Link is in the description. Vote for Paul Machin. Vote for PM. For PM is what I'm saying to you right now. Because obviously Istanbul was the greatest Champions League moment of all time. Okay, Matt, it's been so long since we've spoken to you on the show, mate. Thanks for joining us today. United have lost 1 in 15 home games in all competitions against Liverpool. 1-10, drawn 4, and are unbeaten in 8. And not only that, Matt, they've got a really annoying habit of being shit and winning games of football, which I quite like as a habit for, you know, Liverpool. Have we got a fucking chance this weekend?
Short answer or long answer? I mean, yeah, from everything that you just said, no, we don't have any chance at all, do we? It'd be great if we had the other half of that habit, you know, just playing shit. We've got that. We're doing that part. But then to have the other half and actually win games, that'd be great. You know, it's like 75 minutes of playing shit and then 15 minutes of just collapsing. So yeah, they've kind of stolen that half. If we could get that from them and just, but I totally agree with Ross. Like this game takes place in May. It's like fucking hell, the end is in sight. Like just want to get past it, get over the line. So, yeah, that's the biggest positive. I know that we're not being very optimistic, and it'd be great if we could have some optimism. But when you've not won at Old Trafford for, what is it, 7 years now? I mean, you might know, surely there's no other away ground that we've not won at in 7 years. It must be our longest non-winning run.
I think Klopp has won at every other away ground apart from Old Trafford. So I'd imagine that's kind of true, to be honest with you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, our record there is awful. Last time we won there, you know, Suarez, Gerrard. It's mad to think that, you know, the teams that we've had since then. Yeah, I don't know how we get around this because obviously the FA Cup game when we was there in January was a bit of a weird one. We actually played a little bit better than we had been at the time, but whether we can actually play well for 90, 95 minutes on Sunday, I'm not convinced.
Is there a crumb of comfort, James, that they've got a huge game against Roma in the Europa League semi-final tonight, obviously on the day of recording, that, you know, they rotated a little bit their front line with Mason Greenwood starting in the number 9 role again in that draw with Leeds on Monday. Is there something for us there that they might have a little bit of a Europa League hangover?
I mean, you'd like to think so, but I mean, Roma are shit at the moment as well. It's almost like it's a perfect storm for them, really. We're shit, Roma are shit, and they're on a really, really good run. And also, like you say, you know, they can rotate, and you know, they got Rashford can play. You got, you know, Cavani up top. You know, whether McTominay plays, I expect James to play one of the two games for them. Don't expect him to play both. They're in a, like you said, they're in a really, really good annoying run of form where they can play crap and win, and there's not a huge amount we can do about it. But you know, the romantic in me, you know, I still hold out hope that we can get something from the game. You know, I'm ready to get hurt again, Chris. I'm ready to get hurt again.
You're always ready to be hurt, you James.
Welcome to my world, man. You know, I just think, you know, despite everything that's happened in this fucking car crash of a season, you look at our team sheet and there's still ballers on that pitch. There's still world-class players on that pitch capable of world-class things, you know. But we have to start pressing. We have to start playing a high line. We have to get balls into the fucking box. That's what we really need to do, is get the football into that little square in front of their goal, because we haven't done a lot of that. And if we start doing that, then we've got a chance. Because United aren't, like, make no mistake, this league's crap. United aren't this world-class fucking outfit. They're just kind of getting by because everyone else is shit. The drop-off from City is huge. There is an opportunity. Look, listen to this. I'm building it up like we're going to get anything from the game here. I'm going to get hurt again, aren't I?
I want to get on. I want some of whatever you're on, to be honest, James.
I felt inspired for 5 seconds.
I know, until he backtracked and was like, no, I can't be doing this, Ross. But look, they have got a game against Roma. I'm going to go uber positive here and go, do they really care about the Liverpool game other than it's Liverpool? Because, you know, a couple of games against Roma, really important. They're not thinking about fifth catching them or whatever. They're not going to drop out of the top four. They're not really thinking about Manchester City. I know it is Liverpool, so that does change things for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Man United, but I just think there might be an opportunity for us to just catch them napping a little bit.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I like the sense of it, but I don't think it's going to happen. You can guarantee that Fergie's going to be on the phone to Solskjaer over the weekend going, like, don't fuck this up. Because it is, you're right, it is Liverpool, Manchester United. It's always going to be big. There's no fans. It doesn't matter that it doesn't matter to them. But, you know, they're going to kick us while we're down. It's a really good time to play Liverpool at the minute. You know, everybody knows that. The way that Newcastle set up, you know, suggests that, and the way that teams can identify with Liverpool and find a way to beat us. Man United will be happy to kind of sit back and soak up some pressure. You know, you mentioned Cavani, Rashford. You know, they've got pace in counter attacks there to hurt Liverpool, and it also depends on who we're playing at centre back as well, which you know we're going to come on to in a second.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. I want to ask though, Ross, before we get into that, and I'll get everyone's opinions on this. I'll start with you, Ross. Obviously, when it comes to tactically, you know, Manchester United have set their stall out a lot like Liverpool in 17-18. For large portions of the season, certainly when they've come up against big sides who play, you know, a certain way. Are we going to see that again? Are Liverpool going to try and change things up a little bit and to not have that ball over the top for Rashford to run onto and stuff like that? Or is it just going to be played out in the way it's been played out between Liverpool and Manchester United the last couple of years?
It's a gamble either way, isn't it? You know, you either be predictable, or you try something different, which is again risky. Why would you change it at this point, especially if you're into changing again centre backs? Why, if you're changing personnel, do you change tactics at the same time? Is that too much to change, or you just go, like we've said, there's 5 games left, just fucking get the season done, we'll change tactics, or, you know, a plan B, as some people like to call it, next season? I just think it'd be the same.
What about you, Matt? Do you think it's just going to be the same, or do you think Klopp might actually do something different, or is Klopp's ego, and I don't mean this in a bad way, just this is the way we've been trained, this is the way that I've won the league last season, this is the way we play?
That's been the evidence of the whole season, and it's probably been my biggest frustration, is the lack of changing it up. You know, it's kind of like, we're going to like what's proven, but it's proven like 8, 9, 10 months, a year or more ago. You know, it's been the same shape, the same setup, the same players even. And that's been really frustrating. You know, the amount of times we've gone, well, why can't we just see if we'll go 4-2-3-1? Why can't we try something different? Why can't we, like, go Salah through the middle for a little bit? And it's just not. It's been almost like going and, you know, a whole, like, oh, well, it's experience, but it's experience that you've not shown any time recently. You know, there's players who are arguably playing for their futures, but you can't play for your future if you're not actually playing football matches. You know, does Oxlade-Chamberlain exist? You know, Navigator, has he just been left in Madrid and like did he get buried at half time there or something? Like it's so predictable. Like we know exactly how Liverpool are going to get set, how they're going to set up in terms of the shape, the formation, the tactics, the players even. Like if we all pick the team, there's probably 10 players who are nailed on to start. Like the only sort of question mark is whether you change it at centre back, which I know you probably want to speak about in a minute. So it must be really easy to predict that as the opponent, and it seems like we've been completely and utterly found out because even Leeds and Newcastle were, you know, able to completely work us out. So I'd love to see us do something different because, you know, as all four of us have said, we're probably not going to make much of this anyway. So we may as well try something different, in my opinion. But story of the season.
Starting the front four against Newcastle was something different because I agree with everything that you said there. But again, when that doesn't work, when you run out of ideas, the problem with that is you look into your bench, and that's when you're looking like Origi, Chamberlain to come and step up, and it's a criticism of them. Klopp's turning around on the bench going, well, I've spunked me load here, I've put me four best forwards on, and I still can't fucking score. I can't rely on Divock Origi or Chamberlain to come on and do that. So you stuck of what you do.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, then we'll talk about Liverpool's formation and stuff in depth after the break, of course. We're going to talk 4-2-3-1, we're going to talk 4-3-3. But before that, I've got a trivia question, and the trivia question is this. Since 1980, 3 players have played for both clubs. Can you name them? And while you think on that, have a little look at this from the Reds News Roundup this week, streaming now on the redmentv.com, where we talk a little bit about Ibrahima Konate.
Ross was saying about the high defensive line and Phillips and stuff like that.
55
and I think that's why
seconds.
Konate is such a good signing. You know how good we have been with our signings over the last 4 years anyway. Nearly everyone's like out of the park, good signing. And I think Konate already profiles like that. You know, this looks like an absolute hand-picked signing for Liverpool because first of all, he's 6'4" and he's 85 kilos, so he's not going to get bullied on any Premier League game there. He's already played 4 seasons in a high pressing system and a high defensive line for Leipzig. So he's used to defending in space. He's not slow, and he's close to Van Dijk levels in the air. You know, which is what you need in the Premier League. You need to defend your own box. And you know, how bad have our set pieces been since Van Dijk got injured?
Mate, height's been a major issue in this side all season long, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But Konate ticks all those boxes, and I do think for 35 million euros, I think it's an absolutely. It's going to be like Jota levels good.
There you go then. Do check that out, streaming now on the redmentv.com. There's loads of stuff out there. The Around the League show from Monday is particularly good. Obviously, we've got final words after each and every Liverpool game, Reds News Roundup, documentaries, historical interviews with people like, well, there's 2 on there with Jurgen Klopp, Jordan Henderson interviews, all kinds. Go over and check that out. So, first of all, the trivia answer. Well, Ross knew the answer straight away because Ross is a legend.
Only because he Googled it.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't fucking Google.
He definitely Googled it. He did. Where did you find the answer?
But I was making content for the website about 3 days ago ahead of the game.
But where did you find the answer?
On Sporkle.
Sporkle. Okay, he didn't Google it, he Sporkled it.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo. What the hell's Sporkle?
It's the thing that does all the quizzes, and you just fucking embed them on your website.
That's cool, isn't it? Huh.
Not writing the quizzes.
No. Okay.
Someone else has done it for you.
Fair play. Fair play. Yeah, I respect that. If there's something out there that can do it for you, why not get someone to do it for you? Anyway, that is the answer. Peter Beardsley, Paul Ince, Michael Owen are the 3 players since 1980. Okay, James, you've sat there silently. I can tell that you really want to have your say on whether Liverpool are going to play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Which is it, my friend?
Mate, I'm chomping at the bit here. None of us can give less of a shit about this. No, listen. No, that's not fair on the boys and girls that are tuning into this. No, it'll be 4-3-3. It'll be tried and tested. I think. You know, going back to what we were saying before the break, I don't imagine there's too many changes and there's too many surprises. And also having Salah up top and having Diego Jota, you know, available to bring on as a super sub is a really exciting prospect in a world of not many exciting prospects right now. So for me, you know, and also that, you know, if some of your main players are underperforming. You know, I don't think you can make too many changes right now in the season. I think, you know, 4-3-3. There we are. It just depends. Again, it just depends who's at centre back. And again, there's questions over the midfield personnel. That's the only part of the pitch really where we have got a couple of players that could come in and out. You're right to mention Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita. I'm sure they want a bit more game time this season. So yeah, they're the only options for me that I think might see a bit of game time. But other than that, I think it's tried and tested.
If you're putting your money on it, what side starts for you? Let's go midfield and attackers only.
Well, is Fabinho going to drop back into centre back?
I don't know. I've asked you to pick him, mate.
All right. Because that's going to be a huge part of my decision, isn't it?
Well, make it then.
I'm going to have Wijnaldum. I'm going to have Thiago. I'm going to have Fabinho. I'm going to have the tried and tested trident of wonderful attacking, free-flowing football up top. Mane, Salah and Firmino with Jota on the bench, and then question mark on who is at centre-back. And that's
who's at centre-back in your team then? The almost growl then. Did you see that? The grimace, like, fuck's sakes.
Personally, there's an argument for dropping Fabinho back. His stats there were really, really good. Nat Phillips didn't look like he trained, didn't look like he's going to be available. So it's going to be whoever's next to Kabak, really. So yeah, let's go with Fabinho for now.
So who's in midfield for Fabinho?
I don't know, you name someone.
I asked you to name someone, James.
No, you know what? Oxlade-Chamberlain's probably chomping at the bit to get on that bit. Let's throw Ox on and see what happens. It can't be any fucking worse than Leeds and Newcastle.
No, you're absolutely right, Matt. Where do you think we're going? 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3? Would you have Fabinho in DM and centre back like James?
Yeah, cloning, mate. I think they've got a new cloning machine at Kirby. That's why they moved to Kirby so soon. The centre back thing totally changes everything about it. Now, there was some suggestion that from the whole training yesterday that Reece Williams was alongside Kabak in certain parts of training, and Reece Williams started the FA Cup game, so that would make it interesting. Chris looks absolutely bewildered there. I don't know if he's just caught a fly in his mouth or what. But if it's Reece Williams with Kabak, then you can play Fabinho in midfield. And what James was saying about the high line and how you stop United's pace in behind is probably by having Fabinho in midfield. Klopp always talks. He spoke so often whenever we play against Jamie Vardy about the key to Vardy is to not let him have the supply. So there's probably an argument that he's going to go for stopping the supply, and to stop the supply, you have to have Fabinho in midfield. So, look, for me, who knows? But if that's the way that we set up, then at least it's something a little bit different. It's a little bit more interesting. Will he play Milner again? Milner started almost every game for the last 7 games or something. And in a game against United away, you'd kind of think, well, he's going to play that Milner for the whole quote-unquote experience and everything like that. So if you've got Fabinho and Milner, there's only one other space. Is it Wijnaldum? Then you've got no Thiago, which is basically the lineup against Real Madrid. So, yeah, it's interesting. I would personally drop Mane and play Jota in terms of the attack, but who the hell knows? And seemingly, who the hell cares?
Yes, Matt.
I was going to give my 2 pence worth then, but there's no fucking point, is there, anymore? I think the only outside shout from midfield for me would be Kurt Jones. I'd be tempted to start him, Gini and Thiago in the middle. I get the Fabinho stuff because he offers so much more when he's in midfield, like Matt says, trying to cut out supply to stuff, and just the whole dynamic of the team changes, although that wasn't the issue against Newcastle. I'm led to believe it was just clinical finishing again that was the issue. But loads of people across social media are saying just play midfield, but you have to be prepared for Reece Williams or whoever's going to be in there to make a mistake, or Ben Davis, whose career highlight so far have been a video about selling a sofa on fucking Facebook, because no one's seen him since that video, have they? You drop him into Man United v Liverpool and he fucks up, but you can't complain. None of you been saying put Firmino in the middle. But again, at this point, what have we got to lose?
No, I must admit, I'm so torn because I've so wanted Liverpool to just play 2 centre halves, but I just feel Reece Williams isn't ready yet, to be honest with you.
We missed Nat Phillips.
We do. We miss Nat Phillips. He's at 50% according to Injury Room at the moment. That there's a chance that he'll come back for Sunday. If there's a chance, he has to play for me, which is crazy that I'm sitting here telling you that for a game against Manchester United. That's a big game for us if we do want to keep those hopes of top four alive. But for me, Fabinho's positioning is his best asset. I've said this time and time again. Where he finds himself on the football field, Jurgen Klopp always talks about height on the football field. Fabinho is about 6 inches taller than another DM and yet always gets his head on the ball. That's not down to fucking height. That's down to positioning where you are on the football field for those long balls over the top or when they're clearing it. It's not just height, but he adds that height as well. He's just so damn good in the middle of the park that I watched Manchester City PSG last night. I'm sure everybody probably did, right? And I watched their press and I thought, we used to be like that. We used to press teams to the point where they're passing it back to the goalkeeper and they're shitting themselves, and we don't do it anymore.
PSG did it as well.
And yet somehow we've still got the fucking high line. We've got everybody in the right positions, play a ridiculously high line so that we can press teams, but we don't have it at the business end of the pitch anymore. So as much as we want to talk about Nat Phillips and Reece Williams and Ozan Kabak and Fabinho, if we need to win this game, and we do need to win this game, I want to see Salah, I want to see Firmino, I want to see Jota or Mane absolutely putting the shit up Manchester United defenders, because they haven't got ball players there. Maguire's shit, Lindelof's shit, Luke Shaw's pretty good, Wan-Bissaka's a good defender. He's not a great player with the ball at his feet. They can be got at. That's how Liverpool go and win this game, not worrying about whether fucking we've got two centre halves who should be in the shit or not. No, go and fucking press them. Go and put them under some fucking pressure and win the game of football. Let's not think about how we concede. Let's not think about how we limit our chances. Go and win the bloody game of football. There's no question there for anybody, I'm sorry. But I'm just so angry with it at the moment.
But just to counter that, do you think that they don't do that because they're absolutely goosed? Because
so freshen it up. You've got 4 strikers there. Use them in that way. Use them to press, to harry. We've got midfielders. We've got James Milner. We've got Thiago. We've got Fabinho. We've got Kurt Jones. If they can't do 90, make them do 60. If they can't do 60, they shouldn't be fucking playing. They shouldn't. It's just kind of the way that it is. I'm just so angry with the front three because, and again, I watched that City game and I was like, when did that stop for us? At what point did we stop harrying teams to the point where they shit themselves?
It stopped 12 calendar months ago is when it stopped, and we haven't got it back since. And it's not spoken about enough in wider circles. Our problems in defence, our problems all over the pitch, poor individual performances from both of our fullbacks and all 3 of our strikers. That's mental.
It is. You're absolutely right. But is this a drop-off from the front three, Matt? Or is this they are just tired? Is it that simple? Or can they not do this anymore? They've done it for 4 years.
Both, mate. Both. I think that there would have been a drop-off even without the whole conditions of this season in terms of pandemic, because you've seen that historically with a team of this nature and with Klopp's previous teams, you can't do it for that long. These players are now sort of past their physical prime. I'm not saying that they're dead and they need to be moved on or anything like that, but they are, feeling the effects of 4 years of very intense, high pressure football without any rotation. Literally, there has been no rotation in 4 seasons, was it, previous to this year? Getting Jota in before that. And then obviously without the proper pre-season behind them, the effects of this year is just, it's been a perfect storm. We've spoke about it many times. I'm sure you lads have as well. A pandemic season could not have come at a worse time for this Jurgen Klopp coached squad and for this front three in their careers. If a pandemic season had hit in sort of year 2 or year 1 or whatever, it might not have affected things as badly as it is, but it's the fact that it's come at exactly the wrong time in the development of this squad, this team, everything like that. And without a pre-season to maybe adapt and how we maybe would have used things differently with Thiago, the sort of evolution of the team that had sort of been hinted at before the start of the season. And, it's not been able to happen. None of it's been able to happen. So, I mean, I'm like you. I would rather see us change, keep to 3 up front and then change it so that you've got somebody effective coming off the bench, rather than play all 4 and then, like Ross said earlier, you kind of if you're not winning when you've got all four on the pitch, you sort of turn around and go. I mean, Origi's not. It's not even been training for weeks now. I don't think he's he's actually injured, so he's not. He's not even an option on the bench. So who's your next option in terms of to change it up? Well, Oxlade-Chamberlain was playing as like a number 9 like a couple of weeks ago, and Klopp was saying, "Oh, that's a new option." It's like, oh, come on, give me a break. It's not really what we should be looking at.
No, it's not. It's not, is it? We've had super chat in from Connor Duggan. Thank you very much, €549. If we win this game, the season is saved. Is it, James? Is the season saved? It will go some part in making me happy for a weekend at least.
Well, look, I mean, Chelsea aren't in a brilliant run of. They're not in a great run of form. If you look at the past 5, over the past 5 games, I think we've taken more points over that period than they have, and the same for West Ham as well. Like they're both get-atable. They're get-atable. We can get at the pair of them. But we really need to start winning some fucking games of football. And we can start. We can see. I'm going to get hurt again, aren't I? We can start this weekend, man. Come on, lads. Look, it's not unachievable. It is not unachievable. But by God, we have to win this game of football. There isn't any room for error. I don't know who West Ham got this weekend.
West Ham have Burnley on Monday evening away from home.
On Monday. See, that's not a done deal. That's not a done deal for West Ham, and fucking I don't know, mate. I don't know, Chris.
Okay, well, let's have a little look at the league table then. I've got it up in front of me now. Obviously, we're pretty much looking at Everton, who are on 52 points with a game in hand. They could go ahead of us. Tottenham are on 53 points, same amount of games played. Liverpool, 54 points. West Ham a point ahead of us, same games played. Chelsea in 4th, 4 points ahead of us. So that's the team that we really need to pull back and focus on now is Chelsea. And as James mentioned, Chelsea have won 8 points in their last 5 games. Liverpool have won 11 points in their last 5 games, looking at that league table. And West Ham have won 7 points. So they are, as James said, quite rightly, get-atable. So we need to get at them. Exactly. And the fixtures this weekend... Friday night, Southampton, Leicester. I'm not sure Leicester really any of our business at the moment. Chelsea play Fulham. The only thing going for Chelsea there is that's a derby. Is it Kings Road derby or whatever it's called? Is it Kings Road that both stadiums are on there? I think it is. Everton play Villa, so that could go either way. Spurs, Sheffield United, and then Burnley, West Ham. The one thing that we've got to do is we've got to put that pressure onto West Ham United first and foremost. We've got to win our game on Sunday to put the pressure on them on the Monday, but we will also know what the result of the Chelsea-Fulham game is, isn't it? And then, Chelsea's last 3 games of the season are horrendously difficult. So anything could happen to them in the last 3. Leicesters are pretty bad as well, aren't they?
I think they've got Chelsea, Spurs, and maybe Man City or Man United is Leicester's last 3. So I think they're still our business. They won the other night, which was a bit of a kick in the tits, and now they're 8 points ahead of us. But, if we win this game, we're still putting pressure on them. We've seen strange things can happen in football. It can go right down to the wire. In fact, we did it against Middlesbrough. You've got to keep that hope, you've got to keep that faith until it's mathematically not possible for me.
One other thing, we've not really touched on it too much. I'll come to you on this, Matt, first. I think, we talked a little bit about 4-3-3 then. Is there any part of you that thinks Klopp might go 4-2-3-1? Not what you do, but more like, could Klopp do it again?
We could do, couldn't he? Yeah, maybe that's the best way to do it. Because Firmino, when he plays in a 4-2-3-1, he's actually very good sort of defensively. And as much as the Newcastle game was a bit fucking annoying, to say the least, we were actually all right, and we created plenty of chances for large parts of the game. If Mane and Jota could actually finish their dinner, we would have won that game. Would have been 4 up by half time. So if you kind of go 4-2-3-1 and play Fabinho, if you're going to do that, you'd have to play Fabinho in midfield, because there's no way on earth that you could play Thiago and Wijnaldum as your 2 against United, I don't think anyway. But then Firmino is almost like a half midfielder, half forward anyway. So, yeah, I mean, he could do. Honestly, I always try and see logic in any management decision and what's the rationale, what's his thinking there. But this season, there's been so many times where I've just not been able to work out what the logic or the thinking behind the decision was, whether that's from the start or for a sub like halfway through a game. I mean, like, we've all spoken about it, but like the Thiago sub, against Newcastle, it's just bizarre. It's utterly bizarre. Like, there's no part of me that can work out what was going through his mind and what his thinking was about a bit behind, like, taking Thiago off in that situation. And I think, like, what Ross was saying about Curtis Jones is a good point. Like, Curtis Jones started something like 6 games in a row and then was like on the bench and not used for like the next 6 games. So he like played every single minute for like 5-6 games and then played absolutely no minutes for like 5-6 games. So if you talk about like getting at United and having a ball carrying midfielder, you play Curtis Jones, so then you're going to have to play a 3, but there's no way he plays in a 2. So there are options. It's just that the options haven't proven like themselves to be utterly effective at any point this season.
Does it feel to you, James, and I get this on footy manager games and always have done, where you've backed yourself into a corner with the squad and you've got like 12 players who are match fit and there's a load of lads who are on like 60%. Does it feel like that's what Klopp's kind of managed this squad into? We've got loads of players who are, tired, but we've got loads of lads who aren't match fit. Like, Naby Keita's clearly not match fit. Kurt Jones isn't match fit. Divock Origi's injured now, but all the lads that we see on the bench, they don't play football. Like, they come on for 20 minutes and that's about it.
Yeah, but it's that perfect storm, isn't it? When we went through that period of having loads of injuries, certainly at the back and a couple in midfield as well. Excuse me, we couldn't afford to. We had to play our best players. Even if our best players were 50% or 40%, they had to play because you couldn't change that much. You couldn't change both centre backs, a DM, and an attacking midfielder and maybe a striker. You couldn't do that. We had to get those points on the board, and then as Matt says, as the season progresses and we drop more points and there's more poor performances, you're absolutely right. We've played ourselves into a situation now where we kind of have to play these lads, however tired they are, however out of form they are. We don't really have a choice unless we just do a complete madness and play Reece Williams and play Oxlade-Chamberlain and play Naby Keita, but I just don't see that happening right now, and that's sad as well because there was real promise at the obviously at the beginning of the season. You're in more competitions and there's more opportunities, and we've got Naby Keita is a really, really good example of that. Of a player who, had time out, but every time he's come back and every opportunity that he's had, he's kind of squandered it. And a lot of that's down to the pressure, I think, that these lads have been put under, coming back into a team that's underperforming, because the impetus is on you. Right, you've got to come in and you've got to do something brilliant because everyone else is fucking goosed. And that's just not always achievable. So yeah, we've just played ourselves into this awful position now where it's like, lads, just go out and just do something, anything, get a point. A point would be okay.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. All right, well, let's wrap it up there then. Before we do our score predictions, though, I just want to say, obviously, with the Premier League clubs and stuff over the weekend, taking a stand on social media and doing a blackout and stuff, we will be doing exactly the same on our social media channels. We will still be producing our YouTube content as normal, on our website content as normal, but to show solidarity with the players of Liverpool Football Club that have chosen to do this, then we will be making a stand with those players because they stood up for us last week in the European Super League, and it is a cause that we truly 100% believe in as well. So you won't see us over on social media over the weekend and stuff, and that's the reason why, but we will be producing the content as normal here on YouTube. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Redmen TV. Turn that notification bell on as well. That will remind you, therefore, that we are going live when we go live, which will be an hour before kickoff on Sunday, 3:30 for the team news, then at 4:15 for the game itself. So turn those notifications on, especially this weekend. It's a good time to do it. Ross Chanley, score predictions. Liverpool, Manchester United.
1-1.
Yeah. James?
Fuck, I don't know. 2-0 Liverpool.
Yes, James! Matt Ladson.
I'm taking some of James's positivity,
Yes.
or misplaced positivity, we should say. 2-1 Liverpool. There's no way we don't concede.
Okay, so in this season of shit, two of us have predicted a Liverpool win, which hasn't happened since, was it a 3-0 victory in 2014, was it? Yeah, okay, let's go 3-0 Liverpool Football Club. Let's do that. Klopp's first away win at Old Trafford. 3 students of the game and 1 Ross Chanley bid thee farewell. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me for this one. It's been an absolute shit show, but a pleasure all the same. Thank you very much for watching at home, and we'll see you on Sunday at 3:30. Ta-ra.
Everyone, just to let you know, we have got 1 week remaining on our pin badge competition. If you go over and sign up or upgrade your subscription to Club Legend over on the redmentv.com, you are entered into the draw. And not only that, if you sign up now, you will be entered into next month's draw, which is this genuinely incredible team-signed Liverpool Champions shirt. Just spectacular thing, but yeah, you got a chance. If you enter right now, you get entered into both competitions for 1 simple monthly fee, as well as getting access to our whole suite of Liverpool content, documentaries, features, series and interviews. It is a brilliant service. It's a bit like Netflix for Liverpool fans, so get involved and be in with a chance of winning amazing prizes as well right now.